I'd like to call the Tuesday, July 16, 2024 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Ms. Brown, would you please take the roll?
Sunday, Mumgard, Gaines, Glover, Fanslaw, Klug, Stube, Engberg.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. And do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
And a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the council chambers. Ms. Powers, Administrator's report, please.
Thank you. The city's new outdoor pickleball courts have officially opened. Halleck Park, there's 4 courts located near the tennis courts. Walnut Creek Recreation Area, there are 2 courts near the city parking lot at 96th Street and Schramm Road. And Prairie Queen Recreation Area has 2 courts near the city parking lot at Lincoln Road and 126th Street. Thank you to Tony for coordinating the project. It provides more outdoor amenities to our residents, so we're really excited about that. And Tony did do a drive-by tonight and said that all the courts are being used, so that's really exciting. We like to see that. And then just a quick update on the city's downtown redevelopment project. If you recall, the city's downtown redevelopment plan was approved by City Council back in October of 2018. And the community redevelopment coordinator has started working with the redeveloper to update that project. They're collectively updating the plan to include specific project details related to the city's property located behind the old Public Works building located in the downtown area. And the tentative schedule is to hold the next limited Community Redevelopment Authority LCRA meeting in early fall. And council members Engberg, Glover, Klug, and Mumgard are on that LCRA committee, along with 3 local community members. So after that, then it goes to Planning Commission and City Council. There's obviously, as you know, several steps that they need to go through. But all of that to say that we've been doing a little bit of work here and there over the last several years, but you're going to see that work really pick up between now and hopefully the spring. And thank you to our community development coordinator, Michelle Andel, for leading the work on that project. So just a quick update there. And then a couple of community events coming up that I wanted to mention. The Cones with Cops will be next Tuesday, July 23rd at Dairy Queen, and that's from 5:30 to 7:30. It's always a fun community event. There will also be a food drive for Neighbor Good on July 26th at Papillion Bay. There's free admission into the bay for anybody that brings 3 non-perishable food goods per person for that. And then there will be a free Starlight movie showing of the Haunted Mansion at Sumter on July 27th, and the gates open at 7:30. And then really quick, I don't believe invites have been sent out yet, but there is tentatively going to be an F&A committee meeting prior to next City Council on August 6th. So you should be getting that calendar invite for those of you that are on that committee in the next couple days. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilman Gaines, second by Councilman Glover. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? Please vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item E1, Ordinance 2027, an ordinance to amend Chapter 92 of the Papillion Municipal Code to adopt the National Electric Code 2023 edition and amendments. It's a public hearing. I'll open it. Any proponents or opponents? Close the public hearing. Staff is recommending a waiver of third ordinance, which is an unusual request, and that requires a supermajority. Before we take the motion, I'm going to ask Mr. Sojica maybe to explain. There you are. To explain why we're requesting it, so then whoever makes the motion is informed.
Yeah, the reason we are is just to align with the date that the state is adopting it, and they're beginning to enforce it August 1st. And so by waiving the third reading, ours would go into effect that same day.
So so we do it, we're in aligned with the state. The ramification, if we don't, not necessarily any harm's being done, it's probably just some confusion in the market, because then we would have an old code, the state's got a new one, and we're required to enforce the state.
Correct.
So
we have to enforce that
to avoid
regardless.
confusion. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to waive the third reading for ordinance 2027? And this does require a supermajority. Motion by Councilman Engberg, second by Councilman Glover. Proponents or opponents on the motion to waive? Council discussion? Mr. Mumgard.
Yeah, I guess I question in my mind, I've heard the explanation, and I sit here and I think, well, what are we giving up if we waive the third reading? What are the opportunity? I guess the opportunity would be for somebody to come in and complain or object or something like that. But then on the other hand, if state law is there and is going to be different than ours, I guess I sit here and think, well, why would a public objection really be meaningful? They can't do it under state law, so why should they be able to do it under city code?
I think my comment is it's probably just more philosophical on the idea of waiving a third, and is that a proper process or not. If we don't do it, really the only harm is confusion, and staff has to deal with that. That's the only issue.
Yeah, I'm not coming up with any real public harm, so I won't go with the philosophy.
Okay. Any other council discussion? Please vote on the motion to waive. Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2027? Motion by Councilman Fanslow. Second by Councilman Stubbe. Any more discussion? Please vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. E2, ordinance 2028, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from MU mixed use to CC community commercial for the property legally described as lots 6 and 7 Shiwi Farms and lots 1 and 2 Shiwi Farms replat 1, generally located on the northeast corner of South 120th Street and Highway 370. The applicant is Gerald Torzon. It's a public hearing. Open it. Welcome.
Good afternoon, evening, Mayor and council members. Patrick Sullivan, 1413 South Washington Street, Suite 300 in Papillion. I'm here basically to answer questions and maybe just explain a little bit what we're doing. On the technical side, Randy Kushak is here with Lamper Nearson. This area is set to have mixed use agreements as you go to develop. We fit within the community commercial underlying zoning that already exists, and but yet we're still in the highway overlay, so we have our own design standards that we have to meet. So we're basically just taking an extra step out of this process and getting rid of some unnecessary bit to the zoning, if you will, for the mixed use.
Thank you. Any other proponents or opponents? I'll close the public hearing. Item F1, Ordinance 2024, an ordinance to amend Article 23 PUD Planned Unit Development Overlay District of the Papillion Municipal Code, having to do with regulations applicable to residential development and open space requirements within Planned Unit Development Overlay Districts. The applicant is the City of Papillion for the PUD Design Guidelines. Is there a motion to approve Ordinance 2024? Motion by Councilman Mumgard, second by Councilman Fanslow. Any council discussion? Please vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
F2, Resolution R240129, a resolution to approve an assignment and assumption agreement with Invest CRE for the purchase of property located at 105 East 4th Street. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R240129? Motion by Councilman Ingberg. Second by Councilman Gaines. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? Please vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. It's all the regular agenda items. Committees, we did have an ad hoc committee meet. I'm not sure who got elected chair. Mr. Mumgard.
The special ad hoc committee to meet with regard to golf course fence ordinance met tonight. All 4 members were present. The 4 members are the 4 council members who represent residents who live on one or the 2 golf courses. We had a very interesting and educational discussion of what the ordinance does or doesn't prohibit now, and what the people who have been contacting council members, what they're expressing. No specific decisions were made. other than a decision was made to have staff do a survey of the residents who have a lot just adjoining the golf course, one of the two golf courses. That's roughly 285, 286 lots, and see what kind of a response we get to a proposal that some people have made that for those lots, the ordinance would prohibit all fences at all on the lots, backyard, side yard, front yard, across the board. We're going to do a survey to see if that view holds a sufficient majority to go forward with it. So we'll meet again as soon as we can get the survey done.
And then just so people are aware, if the ad hoc committee does come to a consensus and wants then to propose something to council, then that item then goes through the full open public process. It ended up going back to planning commission, public hearing, coming to council, public hearing. So it'd be a lot of opportunities for feedback if there is a recommendation that comes from the ad hoc.
As you might recall, I had an ordinance amendment a few weeks back to adjust where you could have a fence in the backyard if you had a deck with or without a roof. And that evolved into an amendment that I was going to offer saying, well, you couldn't have any fence behind the house. People who came in and spoke, they wanted to not draw the line there. They wanted to prohibit fences in side yards particularly, and that's where the matter died, and so that's where the discussion is.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you for the work on that. No other committees met. Any comments from the floor? Seeing no comments from the floor, any council comments? Mr.
Mayor,
Ingberg.
I clicked on when Mr. Mumgard was talking. Just a quick question. Your committee, was there any discussion about those that for one reason or another actually got permits for the side yards?
I think I do. Well, I thought my understanding was the people that what I heard. Yes, there. Some people that have
Yards that they perhaps obtained a permit at one time?
Yeah, there's, to my knowledge, well, I mean, I'll speak simply about Terra Hills. There are, to my knowledge, 2 houses that have received permission in some fashion to have a fence alongside a deck behind their main house. And I know of 2 people who have received permits to have the 10 feet that's to the side of their house fenced in. I don't believe, and Mr. Fanslow could speak to that, I don't believe there are any in that either one of those circumstances on Eagle.
Mr. Sunday, did you have something?
I just wanted to make my presence noted on the record because I stepped in about a minute late, so thank you.
Mr. Fanslow.
Steve, welcome. Tom, I don't know, I'm on Eagle Hills often, and I can't tell you that I've looked into side yards, but there's probably a few, yeah.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Just a couple, not much updates from the last couple of weeks. I think everybody's either had them or had them scheduled. We're starting the one-on-ones on budget. So we'll be wrapping those up, and then once those are wrapped up, then we'll do the consolidated report of the budget proposal with the line item details, so you can have a chance to fully review that after we make any adjustments from the one-on-one. So thank you for working your schedules there. Reminder, the farmers market's still going on Wednesday nights in City Park. Getting a lot of good feedback from that. We do have a closed session tonight. So is there a motion to go into closed session to protect the public interest to discuss negotiations? Motion by Councilman Glover, second by Councilman Gaines. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? If not, please vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. I'll state for the record the purpose for the closed session is only to discuss negotiations. Closed session will include the mayor, city council, city administrator, deputy city administrator, city clerk, city attorney, finance director.